Good evening and welcome to another episode of QTV. I'm Kate Mackey.
I'm Michael James.
And I'm Matthew Bowe.
And this week you're in for a great treat as part of Pride Month. We have got two guests on the couch this evening. We're joined by one of our familiar faces, the beautiful Davina from Dykes on Mykes. How are you this evening, Davina?
Beautiful, I'm fabulous.
I know, and you've got a rocking new hairdo.
Fabulous hair, I'm loving it.
Oh, thank
I
you.
want it.
It's nearly the same as yours, it's like an amped up version of
It is a
yours.
little bit.
It is, yeah.
It's my hair on steroids.
I'll send you my hairdresser.
Excellent.
Hairdresser to the lesbians.
Oh, there you go. I love
Yeah,
it. I love it. And to my right, we have Shaz Gerchow, who is about to hand over her Ms. Pride 2012 title crown, which we'll learn more about later in the show. And also, you are on the Brisbane Pride
Correct.
Committee. So, big month for you kicking off.
Massive
at the
month,
moment.
massive month, yes.
Excellent. So, how's everyone's week been this week? We had the Pride opening
gala
night on
launch.
Friday night, which was excellent.
It's huge. I got to party with Bob Brown and Adam Stone. It was an interesting night. I was partying with the Greens and the LNP at the same time. The oddest intersection of politics.
When they got close to each other, did their skin hiss and fizzle?
No, they were because some of them love Rachel, who we've had on before, and
She's pretty lovable.
It was all quite amicable, and one of the Greens candidates was dressed as a fairy, and so that was beautiful. And the LNP people were in suits, but, you know, it was nice.
It was a blending of souls
Cultures.
and lives, yes.
Was.
Well, there's definitely lots to chat through tonight's episode, but it is now, of course, time to go to our hot news of the week. Now, first up in news this week, Target has come out to defend their new ambassador, Gokwan, who is the new face of Target. I'm sure we've all seen the ads on TV. And they've had to come out in defence of him after the Australian Advertising Standards Bureau had received complaints regarding his sexuality and also his use of the word bangers. Target says they got Gokwan on board because of his personality and reputation, not his sexuality. So what have you guys heard about this story?
It wouldn't have been an issue if he used the word norks.
No,
That's
you're
all I
right.
know.
The Australian, the Aussie bloke and whoever would have
Yeah.
loved Norks if
Or-
that was in there.
I was just
Jobs.
fascinated by his name. I had no idea who the man was, and I heard about it, Ambassador Gokwan, and it sounded like something from Star Wars. I was very confused, and then I saw it, and it was a great ad. I loved
even
it.
the ad.
But I mean, bangers, you know, there are much better words.
But he's British, and
Lady
that's kind of a, you know, maybe a little bit more colloquially used over there. But yeah, there was all kinds of hatred-fueled letters going, you know. I even read one that said, I was breastfed, not banger-fed. And, you know, like, so people have taken offence to the term and also the fact that, you know, another one said, you know, I don't want to be fed this from, you know, a gay man.
Yes,
And there
I
was
didn't
use
like
of
that.
other
It was
words.
nasty.
I think you should give a heads up to Target because they actually used a real gay man instead of the Woolworths ad where they used that fake gay man from Modern Family. Who specialises in bad polo shirts
Exactly.
and talking to non-moving dummies. At least Gokwan talks to real people.
And anyway, on that note, we also have the Liberal candidate for Sydney, Sean O'Connor, who is apparently an openly gay man who's in a long-term relationship, who lives in Darlinghurst and supports marriage equality. But on his how to vote preference card that's come out this week, he is preferencing the Christian Democratic Party ahead of the Labor and the Greens. Now, as you all know, the Christian Democratic Party is run by Fred Nile, who has those wonderfully homophobic ads on
yes.
Facebook. So what do we think about that?
I reserve special words for people like him. Seriously.
Oh, no, he can afford to fly to, you know, some fabulous country to get married, though, with his partner. You know, does it
That's
really
true.
affect him?
Yeah.
He can still get married. It's a bit concerning, considering the really hardline stance that Fred Nile's party takes. And I'm sure you've probably seen some of the memes that is on that Facebook page as well, that Fred Nile's Facebook page as well. That for me does concern me as well. But that said, I think even as a gay man, he also represents a party, and that's his party's line.
And that was his defence, was he said, yeah, well, it wasn't up to me, it was the party head office decision. I'm like, that's a problem.
You have
How
to
many
wonder
other
that-
electorates are they going to do that? Because Fred Niles was preference in his top 4 or something.
You have
So
to wonder, though, if he's not going to stand up for an issue that's important to him personally, to his party, then why is he going to stand up for his issues of the electorate? He doesn't seem to be a man who has any morals or values to stand up for. So
Hard.
Interesting.
Yes. Well, our number 2 article for the week was about Ricky Martin. Now, it was interesting because the headline was Ricky Martin, I bullied gay people. Dramatic.
I've heard him sing lately, and I think he's still bullying gay people.
Not
Love
so much
Ricky.
shaking of his bonbon.
No, he didn't shake my
He's
bonbon.
beautiful. I love that show that he's on where I just sit and stare at him for 2 hours, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And the article was actually talking about his youth, and I was talking to some friends about it. Was saying, when he was in high school and he was closeted, as a defence mechanism, he would bully gay people, because he didn't want people to find him out. And I actually found out from some friends that I was talking to and myself, we all were like, yeah, we actually probably did that as well. I think it's something that it hit home for a few people, particularly us, because as a defence mechanism, it is really easy when you're in high school to go, I don't want people to know that's who I am, so I have to take the hardline offensive.
Yeah, it's like you're rebelling against it almost.
Yeah.
When I was in year 2, someone said that Daniel Kluver and I were gay together, and now, I'm sorry, Daniel, I said to him, I don't think we should hang out anymore because it's making people bully us. And now Daniel's awesome, what a mistake that was. But we all do it, and
he's
we're
cute
ashamed
too.
and we make our reparations, but it's very common.
I grew up in country Queensland, and there were no gay people.
You're
Only gay in the village.
Only gay in the village.
Now, our number 1 news story for this week. Federal Labor has promised $8 million to tackle homophobia in school if it's re-elected this weekend. Education Minister Bill Shorten has acknowledged that bullying impacts on student ability to engage in school and achieve positive outcomes. And of course, that more can be done to tackle the problem. A 2011 La Trobe University study has found that 75% of same-sex attracted young people have experienced some form of homophobic abuse, and that of those incidents, a staggering 80% occurred within schools.
It's terrible that has happened, but it's fantastic that they want to put that money towards it.
Yeah.
It's I don't think it's empty money. I think that is actually we're going to put money into strategies on educating young people, and education is where it all starts. And there are schools where people have reported they've been bullied by teachers in the past as well. So I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
It just seems like such a lot of money.
That's nothing.
It's a lot
$8
of
million.
I know, that's the
schools.
thing. Everything the government does seems like a lot of money, but, it is a lot of money.
Only $8 million
It's
for
an
a
important thing.
nationwide program.
When you consider what the actual impacts of that bullying are, I was a high school teacher for 6 years, and the things that I saw absolutely it shocked me. And for me, I think it does need to be addressed. I also think it's a bigger problem than just the schools. The schools don't exist in isolation. You've got families who actually, set the rules for their family environment, and those kids bring those rules into the school. So it's a bigger thing than just schools.
Huge issue, definitely. Well, we need to cut to a break now, and we will be back to learn lots more about Shaz as she hands over her Ms. Pride crown. Don't forget that you can follow us on Instagram at QTV Brisbane. Also, we're on Twitter at QTV Brisbane and all our individual Twitter handles. And of course, you can email us about anything you'd like to hear on the show, qtv@31.com.au. We'll be back after the break.
Welcome back to QTV Brisbane, and thank you for joining us after the break. Tonight we're here with Shaz Gerchow, Ms. Pride 2012 and a local Pride Committee member. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I was so tempted to flick my hair then.
I think you should have.
I know.
Do a twirl. World peace, world peace.
I sort of worn the sash, the tiara, the sceptre.
So there is a sash?
No, I never got any of that.
No.
No, devastated.
I think she's got a secret one at home.
Budget cuts next year.
That's a budget cuts.
So we are going to cover a little bit of Ms. Pride. I think Davina wants to ask you a few questions about that. But we are now in Pride Month officially.
Yep.
And can you tell us a little bit about your role on the Brisbane Pride Committee?
Okay, I'm just a member on the committee, but what I'm charged with is sponsorship. So if anyone out there in TV world wants to come and sponsor us, we've still got opportunities available for main sponsors for some of the events. Am I allowed to do this kind of plug?
Oh,
That's
yes,
fantastic.
definitely.
A little bit.
I'm in charge of sponsorship, and then obviously on Pride Fair Day, we'll be in charge of different the events on the day and just in general organisation.
Yeah, oh, fantastic.
And
So, sorry.
Oh,
No, you
jump
go.
on top of the question. So give us a bit of an overview of Pride Festival, I suppose, because some people think it's sort of that one event that we have in the year.
Exactly.
But it's a
Well,
lot more
Brisbane
than
Pride Festival started in 1990, and I'm not sure if I was there, but I know I was definitely there in 1991. It was originally put together by a collective. Started with a small rally and march, and traditionally ended up at Musgrave Park. That continued for, let's see, I'm 22, so...
We must have gone to school
I
together.
think we did, kindy. Yeah. It had a little bit of a hiatus when it ran into some financial difficulties, but the current committee or members of this current committee have been instrumental, I guess, in resuscitating the event. So this is this year, with it moving to New Farm Park, I think it's going to be massive.
So tell me, it's 2013, gay people, lesbian people, bisexuals, transgender, everybody is getting more accepted generally. You know, I know there's a long way to go. What is the aim of Pride today?
The Pride Committee itself has a number of a number of, what was the question? Can we do that
Aims.
again?
Aims.
Yes. A number of aims, and one of the big ones is actually to promote mental health
Yeah, sure.
with our community. And we do that not only with the Pride Festival, which I should have mentioned before is a month-long festival that continues for the month of September, and there's a massive amount of events that are being held for that. So we look to foster and maintain mental well-being for our community. Indirectly, of course, by showcasing our community with the events through Pride Festival, but also through raising money for the Cal Collins Memorial Award.
That's fantastic. It's great to have a tie-in with something that's actually doing some good as well.
Well, so obviously very important and vital to our community, and whether or not we are becoming more generally accepted in the Western world, I think you can see from the news stories that you guys have covered that it is still an issue across the world, and it's important to maintain that and foster that sense of community. I think you just have to historically look at somewhere like Berlin in the 30s, where there was a vibrant community that was rent asunder by a government that was not in favour of us.
Speaking of community support, we got some great community support that was announced on Friday.
We got some very interesting news on Friday. I'm glad it was announced way before I found out that medication and alcohol don't mix. But yes, the Brisbane City Council actually came to the party and have announced funding for 3 years of $21,000, so $7,000 per year.
It's great
It's
news.
awesome news.
This is the
Very
first
good
time
news.
ever, isn't it?
It is, and I think besides the funds, which is going to go a long way towards helping us put the festival on, I think the important thing is that the Brisbane City Council are actually including us and seeing us as a valuable and relevant member of our community, of the Brisbane community.
Absolutely.
And it's
Yeah, it was
recognition.
almost a scandal, wasn't it? There was a petition for and a petition against, and everybody was having a bit of a battle over it.
And the petition against it hadn't even closed, and they went,
Yeah.
here we
Too
go,
bad.
here's the money.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
In our current, I think, political climate, that's really amazing
Oh,
as well. To be seen as
definitely.
as a valid part of the cultural landscape of Brisbane, and part of a vibrant Brisbane, which is what they're trying to promote.
Absolutely.
So that's really exciting.
Absolutely. And we've had some really good support from the City Council this year in terms of, getting the festival up and running. And I just think it validates what the Pride was started for all those years ago.
So you mentioned it's a month-long festival, and
Correct.
obviously for a lot of people they do know just about the Fair Day. Could you give us a quick example of a couple of other different sorts of events that might be running?
Yeah, we've got events for everybody. We've got some cultural events, so there's a couple of art exhibitions. We have some free events, so there's picnics in the park, and there's some community lunches. There's some dance parties, so there's, for example, like T-Bar, which is the trans night. They'll be celebrating their birthday, I think, in this month. We've got, obviously, the Pride Fair Day is one of the big events, and the rally and the march. It just goes on and on. There's wine tastings. There's some, not so much debates, but there's sort of question-answer
And
times.
that rally is an interesting point as well. The rally goes from a very new spot
That's
this year,
correct.
doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Whereabouts is it going from?
We are marching right through the guts of the valley, which is going to be very exciting. We're starting from McLaughlin and Ann Street, and we've been marching right down Brunswick Street with buses and angry cars behind us
It's
all the
almost
way.
like right near the beat and then the top
Yeah,
of the
absolutely.
It's right in the
It's right in the heart. So it's probably our biggest exposure for years. Earlier prides we would march through the city, but that was on a Sunday and probably even before 24-hour trading. So, you know, it was a bit lonely.
Well, not to mention all that, of course, I know Davina and I really want to know, before we prepare for our 2014 entries, of course, the crowning and the sashing.
I've been doing my calisthenics. I've been doing my little sort of water aerobics, getting ready for Miss Pride myself. You're about to hand over the crown. Miss Pride 2012, how are you coping?
Oh, look, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. As I said to my girlfriend, she asked the same question.
Yeah.
She said, how are you going to cope? And I said, well, I'm always going to be the first one.
Exactly.
Yeah, and she
You'll
said,
go down in the history books.
Exactly. And she said, how will people know? And I said, of course, I'll tell them.
So there's one more heat next week, and then
There's a heat this
crowning.
weekend, and then the actual Ms. Pride final will be held on Fair Day on the 21st of September.
So we can see you there tearfully handing over the...
Oh, look, I'll be doing the royal wave. My gown will be trailing behind me. I'll probably be trying to stab someone.
Practice these ones again, as you said.
The flick.
Best in show.
You'll have to run training clubs. You can groom people for
It's on.
I'm actually thinking about trying to draw abs onto my body and going to Mr. Pride.
Like one of those people that trains for toddlers and tiaras to teach them to be pageant queens.
I could be a stage mother. I could steal a child from the casino and
sounds
bring
like
them
a
up
great
to
idea.
Mrs. Pride.
Yeah, that's a fantastic idea. Don't forget to join us on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram with QTV Brisbane. And thank you for being with us. We will have you back after the break for the Quick Six. So thank you for watching QTV Brisbane, and we'll be back shortly.
Welcome back to QTV. Now, there was a fantastic interview we just had with Shaz from Brisbane Pride Festival. Don't forget, you can get all your information from brisbanepridefestival.com.au, including the lovely guide that she has there. You can download that and get all the information. Now, before we move along, we need to do something very, very important. Thank you. You guys could do the Wheel of Fortune
I
thing.
feel like I'm
Barrel Girl.
Elise Platt of Sale of the Century.
Oh, that's
Adriana.
right.
Oh,
Yeah, but
yeah.
Adriana died and exploded or something. No, she did. She did
Nikki
die.
Buckley, that's happier.
Her
Now,
stomach would
Yeah, she had
swell up.
gluten something.
I have some gossip.
we need to do a very important thing with you, Shaz.
sorry,
You
yep.
thought
Sorry,
you were
we're
going to
talking
escape
about
it.
gossip about Adriana.
Is our QTV Quick Six. Now, there's 4 of us tonight, so we're going to break it up. 2, 2, 1, 1.
Shaz told me she's been practicing this.
4
In
people,
the
In
shower,
the shower,
asking myself
so,
stuff.
you know.
6 questions. Are you
I thought
ready?
you said quick six.
Yes.
Yeah, we're
I
not
thought it was
going
quick sex.
No.
Oh,
That's
my mistake. Yeah, sorry.
Well.
Fun practice.
I'm sorry for late.
All right, are you ready?
I am ready.
Are you sure?
Pumped.
Okay,
Pumped and primed.
beautiful. Mine's all about food tonight. Chocolate or candy?
Cheese.
Oh, I like it.
Cocktails or beers?
Beers, then cocktails.
Oh, mixing. All right.
Tits or ass?
Tits.
Tits. Way to go.
No, I don't condone just what's that thing where you do that thing with the people's things? You know, the objectifying women. I don't condone objectifying women. I like men's tits just as much as women's
She's a
tits.
good feminist. Yes.
Excellent. RuPaul or Bob Brown?
Bob Brown.
I've gone the safe route. Cats or dogs?
Cats.
Oh, yes!
Rudd or Abbott?
Christine Milne.
Hey!
Whoa!
I knew
That's
that
what we
one
like
was
to
coming.
hear. Kind of, maybe, not affiliated.
Well, speaking of which, that leads us very well into our next thing that we need to have a little bit of a chat about, was one of the most awesome TV moments that I've seen in quite a while. I would probably say the best since Julia Gillard let it rip in Parliament at Tony Abbott over the sexism and misogyny. This one was Kevin Rudd. Now, did you guys all catch this?
Certainly did.
Caught the replay.
Yes. And in case you missed it, here's the footage from Kevin Rudd's appearance on Q&A this week, where he had a very interesting conversation with a pastor about marriage equality.
Because you seem to keep chopping and changing your beliefs just to get a popular vote with regards to things like marriage. Why should we vote for you?
Well, on the question of marriage equality, you're right. I took a position about, I think, 3, 4, 5 months ago, well before coming back to the Prime Ministership, because I concluded in my conscience, through an informed conscience and a Christian conscience, it was the right thing to do. And let me tell you why. Number one, I do not believe people when they are born choose their sexuality. They are gay if they are born gay. You don't decide at some later stage in life to be one thing or the other. It is how people are built. And therefore, the idea that this is somehow an abnormal condition is just wrong. I don't get that. I think that is just a completely ill-founded view.
I just believe in what the Bible says, and I'm just curious for you, Kevin, if you call yourself a Christian, why don't you believe the words of Jesus in the Bible?
Well,
Okay,
mate,
thank you.
Well, mate, if I was going to have that view, the Bible also says that slavery is a natural condition. Because St. Paul said in the New Testament, slaves, be obedient to your masters. And therefore, we should have all fought for the Confederacy in the US Civil War. I mean, for goodness sake, the human condition and social conditions change. What is the fundamental principle of the New Testament? It is one of universal love, loving your fellow man. And if we get obsessed with a particular definition of that through a form of sexuality, then I think we're missing the centrality of what the gospel, whether you call it a social gospel, a personal gospel, or a spiritual gospel, is all about. And therefore, I go back to my question. If you think homosexuality is an unnatural condition, then frankly, I cannot agree with you based on any element of the science. And therefore, if a person's sexuality is as they are made, then you've got to ask the second question. Should, therefore, their loving relationships be legally recognised? And the conclusion I've reached is that they should.
What do you guys think?
I just loved it. It started off a little bit slow, and because for me, I've always wondered whether or not Kevin Rudd's been genuine about this.
Yeah.
And
Me
I've
too.
wondered, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe he's just introducing this legislation because he knows it's not going to pass. Is it something he truly believes, or is it something he's just put out there? And after he asked that pastor, what is the reason that your congregation resists this? You know, and then he came back and said, and he pulled his little, quotes out of the Bible. It's like, no, as a Christian, I can't agree with you in good conscience. And these are the reasons why. You're missing the whole point of the New Testament. And for me, that showed me he actually believes this.
And it was actually the most impassioned that he'd been the whole night as well.
Yeah,
Like he
and-
sort of came alive.
And the first time I've ever seen him as a Christian rival to Tony Abbott, like as an alternative for religious people.
And the only way to argue with a Christian fundamentalist, because most Christians aren't fundamentalists and many support marriage equality,
love most
is as a Christian. And if you can't speak the same language, you're not going to be able to get through to them and reach some sort of understanding or agreement. And Rudd did that perfectly. As he said, do you condone slavery? Because that's what it says in the Bible, is that you will be respectful to your master when you're a slave. So, yeah, like you said, I don't normally watch that sort of thing, and it takes a lot to blow cynical me away, but he really did. He felt that, and he was righteously indignant at this pastor, and he really showed that he does support us, and it's not just media training now, I don't think.
Yeah.
No, my favourite part was the tweet at the bottom of the screen, which showed the pastor just staring at him, and it said the pastor's thinking that if he stares hard enough, God will come down and smite him.
Well, we did see that there was someone had made a meme with Mr. Grumpy Cat and the pastor, because the whole time the pastor was going,
He looked terrified.
I love it. Now, there was another speech that happened recently. Obama, who's always a lovely man, and he's said lovely things for the GLBTIQ movement in America. And he made mention of the gay rights progress in a Martin Luther King anniversary speech. Did you guys hear or see any of that one?
I didn't see it, but I have heard a little bit about it since. So it was actually the 50th anniversary this week since Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. And yeah, so Obama did address the nation, and he definitely put some comparisons there on marriage equality as to in the past where, with interracial issues which have sort of cleared the way a little since then, and definitely sort of...
I've even got a fancy quote for you here.
Oh, I'd love a fancy
quote. It says, courage comes when an interracial couple connects to a gay couple who has been discriminated against and understands it as their own.
and that's the parallel. People can say, this is an important issue. It's not an important issue, and why are we worrying about gays getting married when the country needs to be saved? That is such stupidity. If this was an interracial couple not being able to be married, then people would understand this is about equality. This is about people having the same rights as other people. It is not minor to them. It is not minor to us. This is just basic human rights, and stop writing it off. It doesn't need to be written off. You can still govern the country while you allow social change.
I think it also shows linkages between minorities. It's like don't fight each other.
We're in
Come
this
together and fight
work
together.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Love it. Now, you love this one.
I do love this
You
one.
do
This
love
is
it.
the story.
Tell me about it, since it's your favourite. It's a beautiful painting, a God, I love this painting.
Oh,
it's gorgeous.
It's a great painting that's been done and has caused a bit of a furore. As you'd know, in Russia, they've passed a whole host of new laws that are around gay propaganda, and you can't even whisper the word gay without being arrested, thrown in some
Being
prison,
shot down.
or shot in prison. And this particular artist has had a showing of their work. I think it was St. Petersburg, and it's a great image. I'm not sure if we have a picture we can show people, but it's Vladimir Putin actually dressed in it, or Vladimir Putin, as I like to call him, dressed in a lovely dress in drag, doing the hair quite gently and beautifully of Dmitry Medvedev, the actual Prime Minister.
Gorgeous bikini.
In a beautiful set of lingerie.
Stunning. He's got some really nice curves there too. It's gorgeous.
Beautiful. But it's such a beautiful, gentle moment between the two of them. It's caused havoc over there. It's like the whole, of course, art breaking all the boundaries. They raided the actual, art gallery and confiscated it because it was of a pornographic character or what have you.
He's actually in exile now, and he's had to flee to France. To seek political asylum.
Terrible place to flee.
Yes.
Terrible place to flee.
How is being dressed as a woman showing tenderness and insulting? It's not. It shouldn't be.
No.
Now,
Given the way the Putin's
events happening.
shown sometimes.
Shaz, events are all for what you're here for.
Yes, it is.
Number one event, Brisbane Pride Festival. Fair Day is happening on the 21st of September. Headliner is officially, we can announce it, Paul Mack.
Yay!
Now, your lovely other half is going to be performing with Christy Apps, is she?
Oh, is she great?
Is she?
Maybe.
I heard she's in the band, so I'm assuming she's going to be there.
She does play guitar with Christy
Kate,
Apps.
you're going to be there. You're going to be with your band Kuka Shop.
Yes, 110 on the community stage.
Beautiful. There's also going to be Marley Ward, Paige Phoenix, Stephen Carmichael, lots of DJs, the lesbian and gay choir, lots of other things. And I could say them all night, but it's all we've got time for. So I want to say a huge thank you to Davina for helping us co-host tonight.
Anytime.
And to Shaz for coming to tell us all about Pride Festival.
Thank you.
And to everybody else, thank you very, very much. We'll see you next week. I'm Michael James.
I'm Kate Mackey.
And I'm Matthew Bowe.
Have a good night.
See you later.
Didn't get to say that. I don't know.